with a group of other folks, we started Wyoming Reads many years ago. We are so sorry we did not get to celebrate with you last spring, as we always have done at the end of your first grade year. And we thought for sure we'd get to celebrate this fall. And that's not going to happen either, but we wanted to be absolutely certain that you still got the book you chose for your very own way back last December. And so those books are on their way to you now. We started Wyoming Reads because of something very sad that happened in our family many years ago. My wife and the mother of my 5 children died in an automobile accident. Of course, we were all very sad, but I wanted my children to remember other things about her besides just being sad that they didn't have a mom, and the things that she was passionate about. 2 things she cared about very much were reading and children. So the idea for Wyoming Reads was really quite easy to come up with, bringing good books to children to celebrate literacy. But we knew that just telling you about why or who you were getting this book from wouldn't mean much, so we started to tell a story about her that we think will help you remember this day, even though we can't be together. And the story goes a little bit like this. Once upon a time, long ago and far, far away, there lived a very good and a very beautiful queen who ruled over the magical kingdom of books. Now, all her subjects called her the Good Queen Sue. The good queen taught her subjects many things. She taught them to be kind to one another. She taught them to share with one another. She taught them to be gentle with one another. And she even taught them to scrub behind their ears, even if no one checked there. And when they got to be first graders, she taught them the words to a very special magical spell. The words go like this. Now remember them, because you're going to need them later. Sniggledy, sneed, we want to read. Well, one day, an evil Grinch was roaming through the countryside, and he came upon the queen's castle. And of course, the queen always left the drawbridge to her castle down, so all the children of the kingdom could come and read whenever they wanted to. Well, the Grinch saw that, and he knew this was a great chance to make some mischief, and he tiptoed across that bridge and into the castle and began to roam about. And the first thing he came to was the royal kitchen. And in the royal kitchen was the royal refrigerator. And he opened it, and inside was a whole roasted chicken. And he took it out by a drumstick, and he held it up, and he gobbled it down in 3 bites. Then he kept roaming through the castle, and he came upon the good Queen Sue, who was reading in a sunny nook as she loved to do. And he cast an evil spell on her and put her into a deep, deep sleep. Then he kept wandering through the castle, and he noticed the walls were lined with shelves and shelves of books. But since the Grinch couldn't read and he didn't know what books were, he decided to do what happens all too often in the world of grown-ups when we don't understand something. He decided to destroy them, and he started taking armloads and armloads of books off the shelves and throwing them in a big pile in the middle of the courtyard to burn them all up. Well, fortunately, one of the first graders had seen that Grinch sneaking into the castle, and she knew that meant trouble. So she got all the other first graders she could find, and they rushed to the castle to see what that Grinch was up to. And when they saw what he was doing, they knew immediately what they had to do. They formed a big circle around that Grinch, and they first said very quietly the magic spell, Sniggledy, Sneed, we want to read. And the second time, they said it a little bit louder, Sniggledy, Sneed, we want to read. And the third time, you all joined in at the tops of your lungs, Sniggledy, Sneed, we want to read. And by golly, it worked. That Grinch blinked his eyes twice, shook his head once, looked down and said, now who would ever throw books on the ground? And he began to gather them up, and as he did so, one of them fell open, and he looked at it, and he realized your magical spell had taught him to read. And he was oh so happy. And then he remembered the good Queen Sue, and he went to where she was sleeping and lifted the spell. And instead of being angry, the good queen just laughed and gave that Grinch a book of his very own with his name inside the cover, just like the ones you're going to get. And she sent him on his way to teach the rest of the Grinches how to read. Well, we're here today to remember the good Queen Sue. But more than that, we're here to tell you how much Wyoming cares about her children. And we're here to give you your very own book to help you find the magic of reading. Reading really is magical. If you can read, you become a princess or a prince in the magical kingdom of books. If you can read, you can do anything. And just like in our fairy tale, we grown-ups know it's going to be up to you children to save the day. Thank you for letting us be here today. We want you to be gentle with your new book. We want you to read it and read it and read it. We want you to share it with your friends and your family. And tonight, when your mom or your dad comes in to tell you it's time for lights out, I'll bet if you whisper in their ear, "Sniggledy, Sneed, I want to read," I bet you they'll let you leave the lights on an extra 10 minutes. So again, I'm so sorry we can't be together for this celebration. I'm so pleased that we're getting the books to you, and I do hope you will enjoy them. And I'm going to ask you to promise me one thing. Would you please promise me that you would read every day? If you would read every day, if we would all read every day, the good Queen Sue would look down on all of us and say, "This is a good and wonderful thing. Thank you."